Before you start a business, you have to fill out a checklist of proof points. Yes, you have a possibility of failure, a high likelihood if you don't answer all of these questions up front. You just need to make sure that you do this first. Which is probably the most important thing, to do this first. What you have to do is answer simple questions like market research, target audience, who are you going to sell to? Will they actually buy your product? Is it really useful? Did you make it hard? Is it a challenge for them to actually use your product? From a tech startup perspective, you're usually going to offer a SaaS or PaaS, maybe an API. In my case, we are trying to build a startup that is going to be an API for AI technologies. And we'll be able to answer all these questions on the checklist and do this first. This is like step one. You have to do this first before starting the business, starting the paperwork, hiring anyone. You need to make sure that you have a product that can sell and you know who you're going to sell to and that they will actually buy it. I think that's an important checklist that you need to make sure you check all the items on the list. When you're starting a business, you have to often hear the business plan. Oh, that's tedious and hard. That business plan, there's a challenge there, and it sounds really boring. Yeah, it is. But good news is it's actually pretty simple, and there's some things that on this checklist of product proof points that you need to answer in your business plan, and they're really straightforward. They're actually really simple. Let's actually go through some of the market needs and validation. If you're validating the market research, you need to make sure that the analysis of the market trends and consumer needs are going to be met. For example, one of the technologies that we're building here is an AI API technology. And so AI is really trendy and the market needs it. AI engineers are expensive. Guess what? This is a good fit here. A target audience. The most important, who's the persona? Who are you selling to? Clear identification of the primary customer base. Don't have secondary or tertiary customer bases. You need to make sure that you pick one. Competitive analysis when you're starting a business. Sounds like it's pretty tedious. Good news is it's actually just creating a list of all the possible competitors and the features that they offer. What you get to do with this is compare how your offering is going to be that much better. Are you going to have a better product? Yes, you are. That's the whole point of the competitive analysis. And then also this allows you to answer your unique value proposition. How do you articulate your statement to the market so that way it connects with your audience in a way? For example, you say, in our case, AI is challenging. It's hard to learn. There's a lot of technologies and techniques and algorithms that are really hard. It's all math, crazy math. And which algorithm do you choose? Well, guess what? A lot of the algorithms will work, but you don't know which is the best one. Good news is, with our technology, we have the ability to provide a simple API where you don't have to make that choice. It is made for you automatically. When you're creating a tech product, you need to have a checklist of items that definitely says this product will work just fine. And you need to, just in case there are possible fail scenarios, and you want to just make sure that you're not going to run into any of those. For example, technical feasibility assessment, confirming the technology needs to build the product to exist and is accessible. You need to make a product that's actually usable, right? So if it's not possible to create something that's usable, then you don't have a product. MVP development, you do need to actually create an MVP, and you only have 2 weeks. If you take longer than 2 weeks, you failed, pretty much. You really need to focus on the minimal viable product, so that way you can start testing it immediately. Prototyping and testing, you can, that's just user feedback. You need to be able to get feedback from users who are actually trying it out. That's the whole problem. And then performance-based marketing is just say, is it going to work? And hey, it's fine if it's slow now, but you need to make sure that you have a pathway to make it fast enough so that way it can operate at scale and cost effective. Customer validation is a critical aspect to making sure that your product is going to be successful, and you have to talk with customers. That's really the idea. You need to interview customers, conduct and analyze interviews with potential customers to validate the demand. Or do they say, yeah, this solves something that we have a problem for, and it's such a pain point that we're going to pay you money for it. That's the critical aspect. Does it hurt? Do they not want to do this one task throughout the day and that you can solve it for them? That's the answer there. Pilot program, you need to be able to pilot with a small user base and test to see if you get good feedback. Early adopter feedback, collect feedback from early adopters and refine the product so that way you can innovate and have a strong foothold when you actually launch the product. And then survey data, quantitative data, a search survey showing customers' interest and potential usage patterns, which allows you to create a roadmap of future opportunities and also how to sell the product in terms of pricing. Gives you a lot of data. If you can answer these questions, you're on your way to creating a really powerful product. Technical validation is actually pretty straightforward. This is one of the easiest items on the list, I would say, because it's just mostly just simple checkmark. Software, hardware, proof of concept, working concept that demonstrates your functionalities. Is it actually going to provide value to the economy? Do people want to use it? Does it work? Can you make it work? That's actually pretty straightforward. Intellectual property check, you just do a patent search. You want to make sure that you can sell the technology and there's no incumbents on it. Oof, that would be problematic. And then technology stack is just, what tech is going to be used to build this infrastructure. Are you going to use PyTorch for your AI training? Are you going to use JavaScript, React, Node, or Express, or Dino, or Bun? What are you going to use from an end-to-end technology perspective? It's just that checklist. You need to fill it out, kind of like just a regular form. There's nothing crazy on this validation aspect. You just need to check the list on this one. It's really nice to make sure that you've got everything written down and that you've got those answered. All right, now we're at the most challenging one and the most critical one as well in terms of how do we start a business successfully. You need to have your financial projections in the right spot. This is the one that everyone will probably look at first, is to make sure that you've analyzed all of your costs and that you'll know what your break-even point is and how much to charge your customers, how much money you need to fundraise, that kind of thing. If you don't have those questions answered, then you will have a high likelihood of failure, because it's really, if you run out of money, then it's over. It's a failed company at that point, because you can't do anything. You're deadlocked. So you need to make sure you analyze your costs. You need to know at what point in the year you're going to break even and how much you need to charge your customers. And then you need to know how much capital you need up front in order to operate while you're marching towards the break even point in your business.